Okay, my friends. Again, another shocker du jour from the home of the shocker du jour, Mudfossil University. I, again, am Roger, and today we're going to delve into prophecy. Now, everything I have studied up to this point in time has led me to the belief that these ancient texts that were written were very, very substantial. They weren't just fluff and fantasy. Every single culture had virtually the same stories about giants and dragons and monsters and battles in the heavens and gods and eternity and all these virtually the same story, all written in a little twisty here and a twisty there, but the guts of the thing are pretty substantial. So I started to think, because they were good people, well, good gods or good entities, and there were bad entities, and they were always battling, and they were very, very tricky little buggers. They knew how to get inside of people's minds and direct them to do things you just wouldn't do. And I see this so clearly now. It's just staggering what I have uncovered after finding the mud fossils and finding the denial of reality and truth is so embedded. It's called menticide. It's brainwashing, and it's been done. I got a feeling it's done by both sides. Let's just start right from the beginning about prophecy. Prophecy and belief is a double-edged sword. It might be 100% correct. I don't know. All you have to do is believe. Don't pay attention to anything else. Just believe. That could very well be the fact. I don't know. But I see that as an open doorway to believe in anything. You say, no, don't read that. Don't read that. Don't. That'll make too much sense to you. You'll see something there, and then you're going to see material evidence that supports it, and then you're going to believe it, but it's not true. Well, why would it be true if you find the material evidence, you find the historical documentation, you see everything laid out there clearly, who's telling the truth and who isn't telling the truth? That's what I like to do. I decide for myself. You decide anywhere you want. But I hear this all the time. All you have to do is believe, and you're good to go. And don't ever read that kind of stuff. You're doing bad stuff. I don't think I'm doing bad stuff. I'm trying to understand. There's been maybe bad stuff's been done to me. Maybe bad stuff's been done to you, and your mind has been twisted, or maybe my mind's twisted. I don't know. It could be either way. I worry about that, yes, because the people take things I say wrong. They think I'm denying God or denying Christ, or I'm going against the Bible. Well, I go against things that I see are not correct, and I go for the things that I say I can find support for. I find support for Jesus Christ. I'm going to be right up front with you. That's the only one I can find support for. So maybe it is true that all you have to do is have faith that he's the one that's going to save you and bring you to peace and heaven. And if you don't believe, you're not going to go there. Where are you going to go? I don't know. I did something about purgatory the other day where you go to get cleaned up, basically. You didn't pay attention, you didn't do what you're supposed to do, you did bad things, but then you sort of came around in the last couple of minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, let's find out how sorry you are. Purgatory is a whole other issue. So let's just get off that for a minute. But let's just get into what faith is. Like I said, this is a Roger ramble. This is not, there's no format here. I'm just sort of rolling things off my mind. But I do see that, you can predict anything. Whether it comes true or it doesn't come true, who knows? Because it's in the future. So do you believe it today and then worry about it in the future? Well, I think about it today a little more than probably most people. I need to examine the details before I can make any decision. It's just a way. Your mind should work that way too. You can't say, "Oh yeah, okay, good. Yep, we're good." Well, in a lot of cases, that may have perfectly fine consequences. And Jesus Christ and belief in faith only may be perfectly valid. I cannot speak against that. I look for evidence to support my beliefs. And right now, I have all the evidence I need to support Jesus Christ and to support all the ancient texts that were written about giants and dragons and monsters and gods and the Great Flood. I have all the evidence anybody could ever want. I have. And I literally am the only one. But it's undeniable. And it is being denied. And all that was written as well. Now, was that just a prediction? Or was that, divinely inspired? Because all the things I'm reading about false teachers and how they'll exploit you and how they'll make up concocted stories and hold you under their thumb, and God is not happy with them, and oh boy, I'm going to read you some quotes here that are just devastating if you don't tell the truth. It's just how it is. It's the truth. Search, seek, then you're going to be disturbed. That's what Jesus Christ said. Search until you find. Don't stop searching. Search, search, search. When you find, you'll become disturbed. And you'll marvel. And you'll be disturbed. And he said the earth is a corpse. He said the earth is a corpse. And he also said the earth is a body. Now, those two fit together more or less, but I find all that. And I have found all that. And nobody can stand against that. There's not a single person can stand in front of me and say, "No, Roger, that's not right. That's not right." I may make a mistake here and there, but I'm going to tell you what. Typhon and the fish, who is Ares, and Atlantis, and Quetzalcoatl, and all of the things that were written, I can support now. So now let's see what we can find out about, were people deceived long ago just by saying all you have to do is believe in this and believe in that? What did they believe in the, United States area and South America? They had different beliefs, different belief systems, so they must have different gods. I mean, this gets so deep, it's just, it is mind-boggling. And that's why it has to be a ramble, because there was so much written by so many different early writers. And I go back to the earliest ones. And I believe Hesiod was the earliest, about 800 BC. Now, that's not long ago. That's only 3,000 years ago. Now, Velikovsky puts the events that wiped out everything on Earth, basically, at about 3,700 years ago. So, and there was several different events that impacted Earth, and those were things that were known, and they were predicted, and they were written down in Apollodorus. Let me get a little more evidence here to show what I'm talking about. But as far as I can determine, the earliest texts are extremely valid to re-examine at least. I know there's going to be a twist here and a twist there. It just happens because this is a long time and there's a lot of different writings. That's why they're so important, these texts that they found, the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Nag Hammadi. Those were written back then. Those weren't just, everybody just kept writing new pages because they got dirty. And then the new page says, "Oh, well, wait a minute, he really meant this." These were written back then, during the time when Jesus Christ was walking on earth, saying, "Here, write this down." His scribe was Doubting Thomas. And he wrote it down. He said, "These are the secret sayings of Jesus Christ while he was walking on planet Earth, breathing oxygen, just like a human being." And they're unbelievable They're all in parables. And so you got to really, what exactly do you mean by that? Because there's almost very few are direct, exact statements saying, and there's no question about it. But he puts them in little parables. Even the one where it says, just look and see what's in front of your face and everything will be revealed to you. Well, what does that mean? Everything will be revealed to you. First of all, it means if you don't start paying attention, nothing's going to find. You're not going to find out anything. I mean, there's so much to the statements that he made, and the ones about the earth. Well, I'm going to show you some of those statements about, the world is a corpse. Now, does he mean the world? I have not arguments, but I have discussion with people saying, no, when he said the world, he meant the people of the world. He didn't mean the physical world is a corpse. He meant the people living here. To me, it's both the same thing. And he's right. The minds of the people that are living now, they might as well be dead. They just might as well be dead. Anyway, so it's one or the other. But let's start looking at what Jesus did say about. I'm going to put my interpretation out. You take your interpretation. Because here's the most important thing you want to take out of this. Everything is made of something. Everything. Even light. Jesus said we are made out of light. That's what he said. And he also said the other things about the earth. Let's go. I'm going to show you those. And don't forget now, those were just taken out of the ground, but they were put in the ground. When Jesus Christ said the words, they're not the words reconstructed over and over and over. And that's what you get in a lot of the other religious texts, of all religions. But when you go back to the source of the document, now you've got a whole different story. And I think the story adds up to me that we have to reevaluate all the ancient texts. So let's get started. All right, this is the Nag Hammadi text. And this was found in 1945 at the end of World War II, where they tried to wipe the Jews off the planet. Well, I don't know if that has anything to do with it. It's pretty interesting. And this was buried, I say, right after Jesus died, probably. Not longer after that. They claim it's the 3rd, 4th century AD. I say no. I say it was buried during the time Jesus, just after he actually came back to earth and worked with his disciples and so forth. And I'm sure that's when they wrote these texts and buried them so that they wouldn't be lost to history. And because this is the words of Jesus when he was here. So it couldn't have been that much later, I wouldn't think. But anyway, this is the Gnostic text, and it's the Gospel of Thomas. Doubting Thomas was his scribe. And it says, these are the secret sayings the living Jesus spoke, and Didymus, Judas, Thomas recorded. He was actually saying these words, and then Thomas was writing them down. He said, whoever discovers the interpretation of these sayings will not taste death. That means you at least have to look at them and start thinking about it. Interpretation is up to you, but you have to think about it and then make your own interpretation. Now, he also said, Jesus said, those who seek, and that means you have to seek, should not stop seeking until they find. When they find, they will be disturbed. And that's a fact. When they are disturbed, they will marvel, because it's just so incredible. And they will reign over all, and after they have reigned, they will rest. Now, whatever that means, reigning, I don't know. Now, these are the ones that really got me. Listen to this. I have been saying that we are all made of particles of light. Everything is made of these two dipoles. That's it. There's nothing else. And you can separate the white from the black. They always talk about the light, the brilliant, perfect light, and the darkness. Well, that's what light is made out of. It's a black side we've never seen before. Nobody even knows about it, except dipole electron flood theory shows it very, very clearly in experiments. And Jesus said, if they say to you, where have you come from? Say to them, we have come from the light, from the place where the light came into being by itself. It established itself and appeared in their image. The light itself, actually I call it atomic vapor. Light is atomic vapor, just like water is made of mist. Well, matter is made of atomic vapor. Same thing. It just collabs together in certain ways and forms certain different types of matter. He says, if they say to you, is it you? Are you the light? Say, we are its children and we are chosen. We are the ones that are chosen by the living Father. We're special, I'm telling you. There's all kinds of things laying around here. They're not living at this moment. Sometimes in the past maybe they were, but they're not living now. We are living now, and we're supposed to be understanding and gaining knowledge. That's my take. So he says, what evidence is, if they ask you, what is the evidence of your Father in you? Say to them, it's motion and rest. And that is also in dipole electron flood theory. Light can go just a zillion miles an hour. It can go faster than what they claim. It can go slower than they claim, and it can actually stop. It's motion and rest. Well, what is rest? Rest is the cosmic microwave background. Well, what does that mean? It means all the particles in space just laying out there. They're not going anymore. They were coming through, and they stop. That's cosmic. Light slows down. This is insanity to think that these telescopes, these space telescopes, are seeing things that are bazillion, trillion, whatever miles away, because the speed of light never slows down. Well, that is really just nonsense. The speed of light is very, 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 very variable. That's a lot of variableness. You can go faster, you go slower. And they don't pay attention to any of this stuff. And Jesus said that. Now, here's the killers. This is the ones that... And I have a friend, Pete, will be complaining that I'm talking about something that isn't correct. And here I'm going to explain to you what he says, and I'm going to explain to you what I say. This is number 56. Jesus said, whoever has come to know the world has discovered a carcass. And whoever has discovered a carcass, of that person the world is not worthy. Well, let's just think about, what is the world? Is the world the earth? He says, no, it's not the earth. He didn't mean it. He didn't mean that. Oh, Pete, come on now. Why should I take your account of what it means? I say he meant the world is the earth. And whoever has come to discover, it's a carcass. And as far as I'm telling you, the carcass is just dead stuff now. The whole earth itself is dying. Literally dying, and it could very well be dead right now because of the things we've done. We're fracking under the earth. We're drilling and sucking everything out, tapping into all its guts. And that is as good. That was the guts of the earth. The things that we're doing right now we're just killing a beast. We're killing a creature. And they've been doing it ever since they started sucking oil out of the ground was when it started, the terrible, terrible things. Mining, you're using the resources that are sort of laying around. That's not the end of the world. It depends how you do it, though. Strip mining and all the caustic chemicals, and that's killing the earth. And it said, like Pete made a mention, it says, do not harm the earth, or do not harm the world, or whatever it was. But here's my position. The world is a carcass right now. And that's just what it says. Jesus said, whoever has come to know the world. If you know the world correctly, you'll know it's a carcass. Now, I also said this. Number 80 was about bodies, or body. Jesus said, whoever has come to know the world, and again, I say the world, or even it could be the world, the mind of the world, because the people's minds they're dead, literally dead. They're dead. And I don't know if there's any resurrecting them. They're so dead. But that's a fact. Whoever has come to know the world has discovered the body. And whoever has discovered the body, of that one, the world is not worthy. So he's saying the world is a body. Whoever has come to know the world has discovered the body. Well, I've discovered the body. It's all body parts, so I guess I have discovered what the body is made out of. And the other one here, 56, whoever has come to know the world has discovered a carcass. I think it's pretty well dead. You see what happens. You can't drink the water anymore. It's overheating. It's burning up. It's lost its ability to control everything. Everything's spinning in turmoil and tornadoes and hurricanes and weather patterns shifting. And that's because we have sucked all of the vitality. It's fluids. Those are the fluids of the earth that it works with. We've sucked them all out and burnt them, and it expanded the atmosphere of the earth. And now it's scrubbing through space terribly, crushing through space, and it's ripping our atmosphere to shreds, and it's heating it up, and that's what's causing global warming and all the floods and tornadoes and hurricanes and all these terrible, terrible weather patterns. It's not going to get better. The more we burn, the bigger it gets. The bigger it gets, the harder it scrubs. The harder it scrubs, the more heat, the more turmoil. All right, so anyway, that's between Pete and I. He's been going at me for years about this. I'm saying that the world is the world. Take it for whatever you want. It could be the earth. It could be something else. But I'm saying the world, if you discover the world, it is a carcass. I could be wrong. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. And we're going to have to start thinking about prophecy, because I'm going into Revelations, and then I'm going to also talk about the ancient text that talks about Zeus being born. And there's a lot of similarities and things. We're going to have to look at it closely. And again, this stuff just came out of the ground, 1945. This is not stuff that's been poked around with and said, oh, you leave that out. No, people won't believe that. Like Enoch and Jubilees and all that stuff. Nobody would ever believe that. You'd never, ever believe Enoch unless you had the evidence. I have the evidence to show you he was telling the truth. That these things were literally miles tall, a lot of them. And after you establish a couple of good solid facts, like Apollodorus with Typhon and the fish, and Enoch with the giants being just staggeringly large, these kind of things nobody would ever believe, except they are factually here. So once you hit that point, now nothing's out of bounds. You have to start listening, and you got to start thinking, and don't just start saying, "Oh, you have to read this specific text. You can't read anything else, because if you read anything else, you're going to get confused." Well, that's a recipe for being deceived, my friends. If you don't make up a decision based on some kind of facts and evidence and searching, just like Jesus said, search. All right, anyway, I'm going to let this go for now, and it's going to be a bumpy ride, my friends. I love you all. Bye.